Fan Joe Pal Big D back here with another week news announcement. And this is for the 16th and 23rd of November, 2021. Those of you new to the channel, I try to do this every week where I talk about what's coming out new on Blu-ray, DVD, 4K for the current week, the upcoming week, anything that was majorly announced. And then after that, I kind of go off on a tangent, whatever I feel like at the time. So let's get started. So this week, we do have a pretty big week. We do have Mulholland Drive on 4K coming up for the first time. We have Mad Max movies coming out. So the other two that never been released in 4K anymore, which would be The Road Warrior and Beyond Thunderdome. So those are coming out in 4K, and there is steelbooks for them as well this week. There's also a box set that's coming out with all 4 movies that includes Fury Road in a 4K box set as well. I already have Fury Road in 4K, and I already have a really cool edition of the original Mad Max, but I really want to get the Road Warrior and Beyond Thunderdome. And to be honest with you, my favorite one out of all of them really is Beyond Thunderdome, because it's just an awesome movie. I mean, Tina Turner, Mel Gibson, 2-man intro, 1-man leave, spin the wheel, make the deal. I mean, it just got some great quotes. I quote that movie all the time still. I'm always saying, spin the wheel, make the deal, you know. So I love that movie. It does hold a special place in my heart, because I remember my grandmother taking me to go see it, because I had watched Road Warrior so many times on HBO when I was a kid. It was on all the time, so I watched every time it was on, even if it was towards the end of the movie, I watched it. So when they announced that one coming out, I remember being really excited. My grandmother took me to it. We had a really great day, so it kind of holds a special place in my heart. But those are coming out this week. We also have the Middle Earth Clash coming out this week, which I have to go back and amend what I said last week about this thing. I had said, well, I'm not going to buy another copy of it. Who cares? They keep releasing this thing. But then I realized last week I do not have any of those movies in 4K, which makes no sense to me. I thought I got them in 4K. Apparently I didn't. So now I'm kind of leaning maybe towards this box set, because it does have all 6 movies. It has all their theatrical versions plus all their director's cut editions. They're all in 4K. There's Blu-rays in there too. There's lobby cards. There's all kinds of cool stuff. It's all the movies. It's like 31 discs. And now that I don't have what I thought I had, I may upgrade to that, just because I always wanted those in 4K. It's kind of like I want the Harry Potter series in 4K too. So I'm waiting to get a good deal on that as well. So that does come out this week. We also have Candyman coming out in Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K this week. That's the new Jordan Peele, which is really good. It really kind of expanded on the original Candyman and the sequel to it. So really excited about that, to get to see that again and own it. Let's see here. We do have Paramount Presents is releasing Ragtime and Vanilla Sky this week. Ragtime is a really good movie. Vanilla Sky, was not impressed with it. Wasn't a big fan of it. Now, I haven't seen it since its original theatrical release, 15, 16 years ago or whatever. But I remember walking out of the theater with then my girlfriend, now wife, and I remember just sitting there, both of us just shaking our heads going, what did we just watch? I remember just being like, I feel like I wasted time. That could be different now, but as of right now, you know, I'm not a big fan of it. We also have Rand coming out in 4K in a special edition steelbook that's exclusive to Best Buy. Looks really cool. It's got one of those, is it line gates? It's got one of those slip covers that kind of changes. Pull the slip cover off. It's got a different art than on the slip cover. We do also have Prisoners of Ghostland coming out this week on DVD, Blu-ray. And there is a special edition 4K steelbook. I don't know if it's exclusive to Best Buy or not, but there is a 4K steelbook for that one. Nicolas Cage, man, I'm telling you. Was it 2 weeks ago, Pig, and now this? Like, every time I turn around, it's a Nicolas Cage movie or Bruce Willis. And you guys got to admit, man, every time you turn around, you go look at Best Buy, you're looking at the ads for what's coming out new, you look at it, there's always a Nicolas Cage or Bruce Willis movie. I swear to God, they're all over the place. And then the last movie coming out this week, and this is the one I want to show you, is Jungle Cruise does come out this week. This is the 4K steelbook that I did get from Best Buy. I got this. They shipped it to me. This is coming out Blu-ray, DVD. There is a 4K, and then there's a steelbook, and I believe Target does have an exclusive one of their Digibook things or whatever. This was a great movie. I saw this in the theaters, and then I came home and rewatched it again because it was on Disney Channel at the same time. It was Disney Channel at the same time. I really like this movie. Frank owes me money is one of my new quotes I run around saying all the time. But this was just a fun movie. I'm extremely excited. Now, I'm biased. I'm a big fan of both the actors in this movie, Emily Blunt and Dwayne Johnson. I mean, I'm a really big fan of both theirs. This came out around the same time as Quiet Place 2, and I was all over Quiet Place 2. So I'm glad to see them. They're making a sequel, so really excited about the sequel. But I did grab the steelbook. The steelbook just looks awesome. It's got that kind of that Pirates of the Caribbean, almost like Raiders of the Lost Ark type feel to it. So I did pick that up, and excited that does come out this week. And that is it for this week. Now, next week, we're going to talk about the fact that there's not a whole lot coming out. Typically, there's not. The week of Thanksgiving here in the United States is usually a really slow week. Most businesses close down by Tuesday or Wednesday, and then they're all closed to the weekend, through Thursday through Sunday. So everything kind of really slows down next week for the United States. So we don't see a whole lot. What we are going to see a whole lot of next week is a lot of older movies coming out in 4K. So, for example, next week we do have Citizen Kane coming out in 4K. Uncut Gems is coming out in 4K next week. We have Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This is the 70s version with Donald Sutherland and my man Leonard Nimoy. That comes out in 4K for the first time next week, which I really want to get that. I love that movie. We have the Addams Family, the original Addams Family, coming out next week in 4K. We also have the Ten Commandments, which kind of makes sense since Christmas is the month after. That is coming out in 4K next week as well, which I actually do want to see. I haven't talked about this really much, but I am related to Charlton Heston through a series of, like, the tree branches out and you go connect the dots. My family is related to Charlton Heston, so I've always been kind of like a really big fan of his movies. I never got to meet him, unfortunately, but I do love the Ten Commandments. Matter of fact, my wife and I sat down earlier part of this year and watched. She had never seen it before, and she was really surprised how much she actually liked it as well. Those old school, like, 50s and 60s movies with those epics, when they were doing those Bible epics for a while, a lot of those are really good movies. You just got to sit down and just have a little patience, because they're not like the movies nowadays, where the movies nowadays are constantly just throwing stimulated stuff at you all the time to try to keep you going. Back then, there was a lot more story, and there was a lot more lag in between certain parts of the movie, but I really enjoyed those scenes, because a lot of times they would enrich the whole movie itself by having those more slower scenes where they kind of develop a little bit more. They don't do that as much now. They kind of do a lot more. In more modern movies, I've noticed, instead of actually showing and playing out the stuff that happens, a lot of times they'll just show you really quick flashbacks, or a character will tell, like, oh, remember that happened that one time. So I do love the more classic movies, because especially those big Bible epics, because those movies were always 3 hours long easily. And if you think about it, back then, that was a really long movie. Those movies had intermissions in between. And I remember going to see this in the theaters when I was a kid, and it was the weirdest thing, because we got like halfway through and it went to intermission. It was like, huh? Gone with the Wind was the same thing. When I saw Gone with the Wind for the first time at theaters, my mom was a big movie fan, especially these older movies like this. So it came to theaters, and she took me to go see it, and I remember being completely baffled. Halfway through the movie goes intermission. I was like, what do you do with an intermission? And my mom's like, this used to happen all the time when we were kids. They'd have, you go through half the movie, they'd stop for a bit, you get to go out, get some more corn, go to the bathroom, like you come back into the other half of the movie. It threw me, because even with Titanic, there was no intermission in that movie. That movie was over 3 hours long. So, but those classic movies, there's much more, to the classic movies, there's a lot more to it, and then it was a bigger deal back then. My mom, my grandparents, I remember we'd have discussions when I was a kid about movies, stuff like that, and how, like, back in the day, like, a movie would come out, it'd be in the theaters for a year. You didn't have 15, 16, 17 movies coming out in a week. Back then, you'd have a movie come out maybe once a month if you were lucky. So these movies would stay in the theaters for a really long time, but there were always these big things. You got dressed up, you went to the theater. It was this kind of like on airlines. Back in the day when you flew in the airlines in the 50s and 60s, you got dressed up in a suit and tie, or a dress or something like that. Or you just dressed really nice. You wear your Sunday best on the plane. Which you don't do that now. Nowadays, you go in there in basically pajamas. So it's a different type of era. But you can really feel it in the movies, too. Movies are a lot more slower paced back then, or a lot more, character-driven than they were really story-driven, I feel. So I do love to go back and watch some of those movies, because it's a different era, a different time. I feel like things slow down a little bit, so it's easier to kind of, keep pace. So that's my harangue on that. Let's go back to this thing. So next week we do have also Thunderdome to the Mall, the sequel, Eric's Revenge, coming out next week. We do have Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Now, it's not going to be a 4K, which is kind of a bummer, but it is going to be a steelbook that comes out in that day. Funny thing about that is, I don't know if I've ever discussed this before, there are 3 movies I watch every Thanksgiving. Everybody's like, Thanksgiving movies, what are you talking about? Well, there are a few out there. Not a lot, but there's a few. The ones I do watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, because the whole point of that movie is for them to get home for Thanksgiving. I do watch Dutch with Ed O'Neill, and with Shooter McGavin. Again, it's a movie they're trying to get home for Thanksgiving. It's always been a Thanksgiving movie made to me. I remember Married with Children used to make fun of that movie, and that was Ed O'Neill in it, But I do watch that. And the last one I watched is going to sound even funnier is, I watched Four Brothers, the Mark Wahlberg movie. And the reason why I watched that was it was way a long time ago, years and years and years ago, right? Not too soon after it came out on DVD and Blu-ray. My brother and I sat down and watched it on Thanksgiving. And it became a tradition, because there is a Thanksgiving meal in there. Like halfway through the movie, they all sit down and have a Thanksgiving meal. And so that's the other one we watched. I watch those 3 movies every year before we start jumping into the holiday movies, obviously. And the last movie coming out next week is Terminator 2. 4K. I believe this is the remaster 4K from the original 4K that came out that was not good. The original 4K had a lot of issues with it. It was not a great release for 4K. It is, let's just put it this way, it is nowhere near reference quality. It's like you're going to show off a system and show a 4K movie, show what it's capable of. that would be the last movie to ever show anybody. My understanding is it's supposed to be a reissue. It's supposed to have been fixed. That's what I heard. But again, I've tried to find more evidence about that. I've had a little bit of trouble finding any information about it, just some stuff I'd read online. So I'm hoping that's what this is a reissue. It's really cool. It's coming out by Lionsgate, so it's got one of those slip covers that goes over it. So I believe it's like Schwarzenegger's face, and he pulls it off. It's like, you know, an exoskeleton or whatever. But I do want to get that if it is the case. It's great. It's fantastic. You know, it's Schwarzenegger. I love Schwarzenegger. I've got so many Schwarzenegger movies, like multiple copies of Schwarzenegger movies. I'm going to get that. So that does come out next week as well. It's cheap. It's like $20 too for a 4K. You can't go wrong with that. And that is it. It's Best Buy exclusive. And that is it for this week and next week. Let's talk about anything that is majorly announced. Now, there was not a whole lot announced. It's kind of a slow week. We did get announced that the Batman Complete series is being released on Blu-ray on the February 1st. We do have Stargirl Season 2 being announced, coming on the 8th of February, which is a great show. I've not seen Season 2 yet. That's a show, it's kind of hard because, like, it's when it runs during the season, the only way you can watch it on the CW app if you don't have cable. Like, I got rid of cable a long time ago. But you have to watch all the commercials. So I have a tendency to wait for that to come out to either, A, if it goes up on HBO Max, I'll watch it off HBO Max because it'll be commercial free, or I'll just wait for the dang Blu-ray to come out and I'll watch it in. I just hate watching commercials, man. They suck. I hate the fact that they advertise commercials on my videos. It drives me nuts. I don't even get any money for it. Well, anyways, also we have coming out No Time to Die, the newest James Bond movie. That will be out on the 21st of December, so a couple days before Christmas, which I'm assuming it's going to be a great stocking stuffer. Looking forward to seeing that. I wish I would have seen it in theaters because I do love James Bond movies. I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters, so looking forward to seeing this. I do want to say a caveat, and that's it for... Actually, I'll take one more thing, one more news announcement. That's it for what was been officially announced. I do have one more rumor. But, what was I going to say here? Yeah, so I did watch a couple movies recently. Red Notice, awesome movie, really good. I think I might even do a review on it. I saw Red Notice. I actually saw Snake Eyes, which most people have blasted. I kind of liked it. I do understand why people didn't like Snake Eyes because they did change the origin story up a bit. I still liked it. And then last night we sat down. No, was it last night or the night before last? It was the night before last. Yeah, it was the night before last. Was it just Red Notice? Yeah, it was just Red Notice. But it was a really, really good movie. I really thoroughly enjoyed that movie. You've got to watch it. Trust me, it's fun. I was completely blown back. I mean, dang, you know. And gosh, I watched another movie. It was really good too. And now I'm just Shang-Chi. I finally watched that because it went up on Disney Plus finally. I'm not kidding you. That movie is up there in my top 5 Marvel movies. I really like that movie. I thought it was awesome. Oh, man, I was totally into that movie the whole time. I really, really, really like Shang-Chi. I recommend seeing it. It's up on Disney's app right now. If not, it comes out next week. Actually, I didn't put that in there. It comes out next week. So if you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. It was awesome. So other than that, the only other rumor I've heard is... I have heard that, as you know, 3 years ago, Shout Factory, Scream Factory put out a Halloween box set actually probably like 4 years ago, I guess, with at the time had been all the current Halloween movies that have been out. Now, it doesn't have the last 2 Jamie Lee Curtis movies, because it just came out before those had come out, the first one came out to theaters, but up until date, it had all the Halloween movies, beautiful box with also amazing art. And then last year, the year before last, they released a Friday the 13th set, which had all of them in there. And still to this date has all the movies in there. All been remastered. All look great. Booklet, the whole 9 yards. The rumor is, it's been filming around for a while, but it looks like I've seen some box art now. It looks like Nightmare on Elm Street is their next big box set coming out by Shout Factory, Scream Factory. Now, this has been rumored for a while, but now there's some box art floating around, which makes me feel like it's getting closer and closer. We know they're eventually going to do it because... why not? He's another classic 80s stalker. I'd love to see them do the Child's Play movies too, which I'll get back to that in a second. But it looks like it is coming out. I would assume it'll probably be around this time next year before we'll see it. But it looks like they are working on it. The rumors look like they may be true, so we might be getting that. Now, with that being said, I would love for them to do a Child's Play set as well. I do have all the Child's Play movies, and they came out in that. And I have that one yellow box set that came out with the lenticular face on the front. I would love for a Child's Play series, just because and what I would love to do is if they added in the Sci-Fi Channel's Child's Play series. If you've not seen the Child's Play on Sci-Fi Network, the TV series they created, I'm telling you, holy cow. They literally, in that show, have every movie they've put out has been referenced in there. I mean, Jennifer Tilly. I mean, everything from Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, was it Cult of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, Child's Play 1 through 3. They've referenced everything. They've brought in characters from every one of those movies into this TV series. This TV series is absolutely amazing. I love it. I think it's great. I'm going to do a review of the whole series, which is over because there's only 2 episodes left. I think it's like a 10-episode series. I don't know if it's a miniseries. They're going to be coming in next year. They use mostly animatronics throughout the TV series. Yes, there is some places where Chucky is CGI, but for the most part, they did a really good job using an animatronic throughout the whole thing, which just lends another level of amazingly awesomeness to it. You've got, trust me, just watch the first couple episodes, you will be hooked. If you're a Child's Play fan, now if you're not, but if you're a Child's Play fan at all, if you saw a couple movies and remember loving those movies, trust me, this show is a home run. It is, I look for every Tuesday, it premieres Tuesday nights. Every Tuesday night, I'm like, woohoo! It's a great show. I really highly recommend you watching it. Yeah, and that is it for this episode. I'm trying to keep it a little bit shorter than normal. Thank you guys all for watching this video. Like, subscribe, the bell. You know the whole 9 yards. Please share this video if you got the opportunity. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me some comments down below. I'm starting to answer them now. So, as for Black Friday, actually, let's talk about Black Friday really quick. As for Black Friday, I don't know. I have not seen anything whatsoever in regards to the Dollar Tree. I even asked the Dollar Tree employee the other day if they got movies coming out. They're like, I don't know. But that's usually the response I get, and then 3 days later they pop up. Best Buy's already got all their Black Friday movies out. Walmart put them out a couple weeks ago, and let me tell you, Walmart's pickings were terrible. It was mostly DVDs. And as for Target this year, they're doing their typical buy 2 get 1 free, which was just a sale they had last week. They're doing it again over Black Friday, over the Thanksgiving weekend. So again, there's not much on sale. Now I know Vinegar Syndrome, I believe, is having a sale. I believe that Severance having a sale. A couple of those other niche, I'm sure Kino Lorber will have a sale. They always have sales on Black Friday for all those things, so you might want to look there. I'm sure the best way to do it is if you go on to Blu-ray.com and click on the top button. It'll say price tracker, and it'll show you what Amazon, Best Buy, some of the other places are selling it, and they can list it out for all the movies that are on sale and what's the best deals for them. That's where I usually look up to who's got the best deals for certain movies. But there's nothing a lot. I'm going to get a few movies for Black Friday. Sure, about ready to order some, I think. But it's nothing special. Even the stuff that's out this year, what I am getting is I'm only upgrading 2 movies. The other ones are movies I just don't have. But for the most part, like, there's not much there this year. This is a lot of the stuff that's on sale this year for Black Friday was on sale last year for Black Friday. And it's actually a little bit more expensive now than it was then. Although there is some caveats to that. There's some new releases like Don't Breathe 2 that Best Buy has. That's going to be on sale for $10, which upsets me because I paid like $13 for my 4K because I had a ticket, but I still, I had a Best Buy certificate and I still paid like $13 for it. Now it's $9. So there's some stuff that just came out last couple weeks that is on sale, like Escape Room 2 is like $10. That just came out a couple weeks ago. I'm trying to think. There's a few other movies that had just come out, like Peter Rabbit 2 that just came out. They put it out, stuff like that. So there's some stuff that's up there, but overall, like, majority of it was on sale last year. Like the Joker's up there. That was on sale last year. All the Batman Begins, Batman, for, those movies. Again, they never put out the Schumacher ones on 4K for sale, but the Christian Bale ones every year are the same price. Die Hard was another one. I remember I got Die Hard, I want to say it was last year, the year before that. It's been on the sale for a couple years now, but I only paid like $8.99 for it, and now the cheapest I've seen it for is like $12.99 or $13.99. So some of the stuff even somehow went up. But as for Black Friday, there's just not a whole lot. Will I do a Black Friday haul? Yeah, it's one of my most popular videos I do every year when I do my Black Friday haul. I'll definitely do that. I'm going to try to go into a Best Buy and to a Walmart, do a little bit of filming. We'll see how that goes. Probably not on Black Friday. I don't see any reason to. But I'll try to go probably over the weekend just to look around a little bit. I doubt I'll find anything just because, again, stuff's already out. It's not like it's coming out on that day. So the remember part about this year is it was really exciting because you'd see the ad and go, ooh, look at all this stuff. And then the ad would say there's more titles to choose from coming to the store. But now that they've had this stuff out for weeks already. So it's not like it's like, ooh, there's something new. Now, the first question probably would ask is, do you think that maybe add some more stuff? And they may. Best Buy may add some more stuff to that sale next week. You can never say never with Best Buy. I don't foresee Target, because Target's doing their buy 2 get 1 free, so they don't care. They're like, do buy 2 get 1 free, which is not really a sale unless you can work it out. Like, it's a good sale if you're buying 3. Like, if you're gonna buy that that Lord of the Rings box set, you're going to go buy a couple other major box sets. It's a good deal. You can save some great money. But if you're buying 3 movies that are $9.99 a piece, it's kind of like, okay. So I saved a couple bucks in each one, but it's, it's the value's not there. It's just a lot of times it's not like the last buy 2 get 1 free I did do, but I picked 3 movies that were all $12 a piece. I didn't go over because the bummer part is you could pick a really expensive, 2 really expensive movies, and the third movie you pick it's not so expensive. You get the cheapest one free, so it's like, But the buy 2 get 1 free, they run it all the time. Probably once a month, Target runs that thing, so it's not a new sale. It's not like exclusive for Black Friday. It's a sale they run all the time. So not impressed with it whatsoever. Walmart, again, they mostly did DVDs, which is fine, but a lot of those DVDs were like, And then I liked what they did have on sale for Disney was like, I think the cheapest price were like $12 and $13 for some of these movies that have been out for several years, and it's like, well, how is that worth it? Like, this doesn't make any sense. This movie's been out like 5 years, like in and out, been out 5 or 6 years. They want $12, $13 for it. It's like, why can I get this other movie just released 3 weeks ago for $10? I got to pay more for this one's been out for 5 years. It's typical Walmart, typical Disney. Disney doesn't want their movies to be go down too much in price because they want to get as much as they can. That's why if you look at classic Disney movies, they never go down in price. $20, maybe $17.99 is the cheapest you can get them for, but they never really go down. Unlike a lot of other movies, most other movies over time, they go down to $14.99 and go down to $9.99, and sometimes even slide down to like $5.99 before they finally just kind of go through their cycle. So anyways, I will try to do a Black Friday video maybe later this week, talk about what I'm looking at, what I'm going to get, and then I will do a video discussing, discussing everything I did pick up and showing everybody what I picked up. As soon as I hear something about Dollar Tree, I will definitely post a video really quick to let you guys know. But again, I haven't heard anything. So now, that is all it. I want to say that sorry about that. Please take care. Everybody keep hunting, like, subscribe, the bell. Talk to you guys soon. Please be safe out there. Always keep hunting because you never know what you're going to find. And as always, live long and prosper. Bye.